Okay, welcome everybody. I am glad to be here today. It is my opportunity to share some wisdom with you as usual. And in the course of sharing that wisdom, I hope that it will also serve you well. And so I want to type in the title of this program. It's going to be a short one or it might be a long one. Who knows? I can tell you that it is. Every time I come into a subject matter is something that I have to be able to comprehend myself first. So let me tell you that this is Clear Blue Radiance. It is the actual new podcast name that I had to use or I came up with in May of last year. And today's date is March the 9th. And so we try to come on, or meaning myself, I try to be here every Thursday at least by 1 p.m. or 1:30 p.m. And today it's 1:30 p.m. So my topic is it's a little on the long side, but the main part of the topic is the only power you will ever need is never in a number. That's the main title. And the subtitle is the infinite power of grace, usually I say divine grace, is your true blessing. Now, we need to have an understanding of that. And this is not a Christian thing, it's actual metaphysical truth, a metaphysical theorem, okay? It is going to, allow you to understand what I'm talking about. I am Brother Francis E. Revels-Bey. I am a spiritual counselor for over 40, almost 50 years. And I've had this opportunity to share my teachings with many people and in different light, different settings, different elements of whether it's a placement or opportunity. In fact, all over the country. So I'm here with Resonant Essentials and I'm bringing forth this short program. Now, before I enter my program, and I'll get back to who I am, I want to let you know that we have meditation coming up here on Saturday for those who want to join me. It's at 11:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. That's the new time, 11:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Mountain Time here at Resident Essentials, located at 3107 Eubank Boulevard Northeast, Suite or Door 34. Okay, and that's within the Scottsdale Shopping Village. Now, there's also an event coming up right after that later from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. There's a gentleman coming there talking about higher consciousness and things for IONS, which is the Institute of Noetic Sciences. And they're a pretty big organization around the United States. It attracts a lot of people talking about metaphysics, spirituality, quantum theories, and much, much more. So he's going to be there, and you can give him a donation. That's how it works. He'll take a donation for his 2 hour talk, and it'll be a very good uh, lecture. Okay, and then Sunday we have from 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. our monthly psychic and healing art fair, and that goes from 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. with free admission. I'll be there doing celestial I am drawings and angel of grace readings. You'll be able to get a reading for $20 for 20 minutes or a dollar a minute. If you take the drawings from me, the drawings that I do are $30 for about 30 minutes. Get a reading as well as the drawing. So, and there's going to be a lot of other people there. I think we might have Susan Zumo there. Rosemary, Rosie will be there. Uh, I believe Phoenix will be there. A lot of people, a lot of readers there giving you, and healers giving you good insight, good information. So this is a great weekend. And by the way, the clocks go back at 2 a.m. Sunday morning. So not go back, but they go forward. So the time is going to go forward on Sunday morning at 2 a.m. So make sure you go to bed early Saturday, okay? So you can be up and bright and attend our Psyche Fair at 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. this Sunday, because it's the second Sunday of the month. All right, so I've been a spiritual counselor for over 40, almost going to 50 years. I like to help people like yourself gain greater clarity in your own life. We're always looking to have a clear sight, clear understanding, and a better understanding of your purpose. And as you evolve throughout your life, as you change, as you grow spiritually, metaphysically, however you want to term it, your purpose begins to change. You get to see your purpose in a different way. And so you might have a purpose to be an artist, dancer, a poet laureate, a scientist in your earlier stages. And you come forth and you're supposed to be going into a field of ministry or something of that sort. Or you're supposed to step into healing. Or you're going to be a professional athlete. Who knows? Only you will find that when you go deep within yourself and you meet up with your higher self, that can help you understand what you are doing from moment to moment. So I came up with this topic today, and I'm going to present it to you like this. And, I can be a little long winded, so I hope I'm not going to bore you with this. But the topic is: the only power you will ever need is never in a number. That's the first part. So I want you to meditate on what that is. The only power you will ever need is never in a number. Now, the follow up to that is this: the infinite power of grace is your true blessing. The infinite power of grace is your true blessing. So you see, people through their own upbringing, and many of us have experienced our parents, our elders, our grandparents, older siblings, you name it, relatives, or good friends, people in your neighborhood that you looked up to. You had a certain amount of upbringing, rearing, as they say. That power rules over everything. Many of you have heard that. Power rules over everything. Why? Because people can see power in action on some level. So you think because you can see power in action on some level, that power is going to be the blessing for you. But what you actually find out is over and over and over again, the power isn't the blessing. I'll give you a perfect example. There is it's on Netflix, and it's about a guy. I think his name is Ronnie Smith. He's a bodybuilder. And this guy had been a bodybuilder for ages and ages. He's really, really bulked up. He got so big in here and his shoulders and his muscles, but especially in his legs and his body, that his hips gave out. And now he's like a crippled athlete. He's still big and muscular, but he doesn't walk in his natural way anymore. That's the result of too much power on a small frame. And the frame, the physical frame, with gravity, gave in. And as it gave in, he's now walking around crippled. He can't do the things he used to do. He can no longer power lift like he used to. The power lifting over time and any other things he may have used that could have been unhealthy, I don't know, but it didn't rebuild his internal structure, his skeletal structure. And now he walks with a limp, with a cane or a crutch. So there is the right use of power and the wrong use of power. When power is misused, Eventually, the one who misuses the power does what? Well, they don't understand that they're misusing the power. But what happens is this: because they are misusing the power, their ego stands in the way. And they think, basically from their ego, that they're supposed to be high, mighty, and powerful, and they're supposed to manipulate everybody else's life instead of doing what? Cleaning up their own life. So I'm beginning to, in my age, and I'm not going to say my old age, but I'm going to say this: in my age, I've witnessed it over and over and over. And you might say, well, how did you ever misuse power? I'm going to be honest with you. In my earlier years, when I first was studying numerology, I thought I should be reading everybody. I was studying tarot. I supposed to be reading everybody. I was misusing the art of tarot, the art of numerology, the art of dreams. I wanted to read everybody. The ability to read people. I was reading too many people. I was getting a high off of it. And one day, I met a brick wall. I met a person I couldn't read. And it was at a psychic fair in Harlem. And it was a downfall of a day because it was raining outside, and I had 10 people in front of me. Back in those days, we charged $3 for a 10-minute reading and $5 for a 20-minute reading. And I couldn't read a soul. And I was frustrated. And the person sitting next to me was in their 60s. Here I was in my 30s. They were in their 60s, twice my age, saying, young man, you haven't had any life. Haven't had any life experiences. How are you going to give information out to people? That bothered me. But he was right. And then another guy came over to me and said something. And then a woman who became one of my best friends over the years, and she was a spiritualist, like 3 or 4 generations. She said, "You're having a rough day." Huh? She said, yes, your ego. You came in here thinking that you knew everything, could do everything. And it's just something that we all go through. It's just like a baseball game. There's some days the pitcher's having a lousy day, and there's some days the batter is having a lousy day. So the ego, your attitude has to shift. When your attitude shifts, you have greater gratitude. When you have more gratitude, your attitude goes up. Your attitude, how you see everything. If you focus on, I'm going to do the right thing, I'm going to make my readings clear, my spiritual consultations clear, my counseling clear, I'm not going to go after the money, I'm just going to go after the information and help the person, then what happens? You don't often see an immediate response or reward, but in the long run, you do, because you're no longer pressured by carrying your ego. Here's another example. When a martial arts student, a beginner, begins to learn their art, they do not learn how to be powerful, powerful enough to hurt. In fact, if they by accident don't pull a punch or a kick, they got to hug that student, the person, they got to apologize, they got to bow, because it's about what? Self control. But they learn to become powerful as they heal themselves. That same student does not learn how to fight the external enemy. Yeah, they're going through the motions, how to follow through on a punch, how to follow through on a kick, an elbow, a finger, whatever, knee, whatever. They're learning that, hip throw. Yeah, they're learning all of that. But that's not the real lesson. They got to learn the technique, they got to learn the balancing point, how to be balanced. They can't walk into the dojo or the coon all upset from something that happened outside. Why, you'll infect the other members, your other community in that school with your anger. You won't have any control and you'll hurt them. Then the teacher has to call you out and make you the uki of the day, meaning the demonstration dummy, to show you the do's and the don'ts of techniques. But yeah, you've got to fight what? The internal enemy. So let's say somebody's picking on you and you don't like it, and you know you got some energy to work with. It's okay, but as sooner or later, when you crack, and what I mean by that, you can't take it anymore, you can't do anymore, you've done all that you can do, then you must return. But you don't have to return it out of anger. It may come out like that at first, but you're returning on the long haul. You're just not dealing with the enemy in front of you. You're dealing with what came out of you that produced the enemy in front of you. And once you overcome the internal enemy, or as one of my friends, Bishop Shamar Womack, back at his church, used to say, your enemy is your enemy, enemy, in me. Because that's the one who has acquired all this stuck energy. That's the one who didn't do anything in the beginning when they first sent something. That's the one who didn't do it from up here. They kept it down here. So, what does a student in the martial arts learn? They learn all that martial arts to get strong and strong and strong, and what? To flush out the fear so they can properly think and properly sense what's going on around them. And sometimes they say in martial arts, especially with qigong and tai chi and kung fu stuff, they said you don't need brute force to move something. You need 4 ounces. That means you let the thing come on top of you and you move at the very last minute second. And that which came after you gets turned back on itself because you understand circular motion, not linear motion. A lot of people attack linear wise, but they've never felt something that's circular. They've never felt something that comes from upstairs downstairs. They only know about what's downstairs that comes up, but they don't know how upstairs meets downstairs and creates a circuit called a circle. But that comes with time. You shall prevail if you do what? Love yourself. Let me say that again. You shall prevail if you have unconditional love for yourself, unconditional respect for yourself, unconditional respect and love for your immediate family, your ancestors. Your ancestors are sitting there and they're waiting. My ancestors do it all the time, and then they come play with me. Oh, what you so upset about? Gave you the information in a dream. What you so upset about? Whispered in your ear. What you so upset about? Let you see something in the ethers, and you still didn't respond. You still didn't clear. Now you're hemming and hawing. My late mother used to say, "A stray bullet don't stop for no one, so don't create the opportunity for the stray bullet and you to meet. Make changes." Um, Neil Donald Walsh wrote a book, When Everything Changes, Change Everything. When Everything Changes. That's a good book by Neil Donald Walsh, the guy that wrote the first book, Conversations with God. Get the book that's called When Everything Changes, Change Everything. In other words, change your approach, change your outlook, change your plans, change your attitude, change your routine. See, a bully can pick on somebody because they know your routine. But when they can't read your routine, there's nothing to pick on. In fact, they don't see nothing but confusion, and the confusion rests with them. So, a martial arts student in the beginning is not really learning how to be powerful at hurting someone. The first level is how to build yourself up. In other words, build up your self esteem. When you do that, you bring the power of healing into your life to heal yourself. Now, here's something else. The same student does not learn to fight, again, the external enemy. He or she is taught that the only enemy is their fear. Jose Silva, the originator of the Silva Mind method, what did he say? Fear is an acronym for false expectations appearing real. So, guess what? Sometimes an external enemy called the bully has these expectations of you. But if you are true to yourself, they will be false to them, but you won't see the same thing that they see. All you will see is calmness in front of you. All you will see is your ancestors rolling up to your right and your left and behind you, whispering in your ear, telling you to get out the way with your ego. We're here. We'll take care of it. Then your ancestors roll out the mat in front of you. He said, "No, we're going like in that biblical scripture, whichever one it says. God puts out a table, right? Prepares a table before thine enemies. What do you? He ain't saying feed the enemy. You're feeding yourself. You're building your strength internally so that you can feast on the labor, on the work you needed to produce that table and what went on it. It said in one of the Psalms, you're going to lay down beside green pastures. You're going to have peace, harmony, and happiness if you listen to that higher realm of ancestors, the ones that have gone on before us thousands of years ago. Do you know that you are a product? You are a product of some ancestors who prayed. They said, I sure don't want to live this life, and I don't want my descendants to live this life. They laid the prayer out. All you got to do is feel the vibe, walk in it, and you have more strength than you can imagine. So the true power is not in a number. It's not in you having a posse. The true number is in understanding the infinite power of grace. And grace is not just gentleness and kindness. Grace is also understanding. Grace is accumulating to apply it successfully. Grace is understanding the grace is not this humble creature walking around. Grace is inside of you. You've had it. It came into this world with you. If you understand grace, then you get some mercy. In other words, you get a second wind and a third wind and a fourth wind and a fifth wind. And what happened? Making your mind stronger, making your body stronger. You're able to tune in to the cells in your body, trillions of cells coming and going, and have a conversation with every one of them coming and going. And they'd be looking at you and telling you what you need to do and what you shouldn't do. People say, well, I sent a prayer out. And the angel said, and he sent a sign. He sent you a warning. He showed the ants moving away and the butterflies moving away and animals going uphill. Usually that means get out of Dodge. I was waiting on a sign when I was going to get saved. I sent you somebody. Hey, I got a raft. You want to get in? No, I'll wait. I'll wait for that big boat that's coming. And then you wait and realize the boat done pulled off. Didn't even come down to your end. And you can't swim. Like me, I can't swim. I'm gonna get on the first boat I see. I don't care. I can't swim. I'm gonna get on the first boat. When you don't have any attachments to material things, that's what grace is. You're no longer attached to the material world. Only thing you're attached to is the clothes you got, the way you live, the car you drive, and some, maybe something that you can call ownership. But you ain't got to worry about nothing past that. Why? Because your ancestors are crowding in around you. They've been sending you messages. They've been talking to you. They've been in your dreams. They've been showing up in your life, looking through the eyes of other people at you. So this third world that most of us live in and have to share with others live in the acronym of fear. At times we fluctuate. We go back and forth only because we do not know or remember our true power. Our true power is not a thing, but it is a manifestation of that energy called power. Our true power is the result of a true force that cannot be seen by anyone and never left or never felt by anyone. Force, you don't see it, nor can you feel it, but you do experience it. You have to develop the sensitivity to force. So you get to experience the force in many, many subtle ways: rain, sun, lightning and thunder, hail, sleet, moisture in the air, movement around that you see. What looks like dust particles is actually energy particles that you're looking at. Animals, words, babies for sure. You get to see that, you get to experience that, you get to know that, and you get to understand that. Grace never left your side. Grace produces innocence. Grace produces infinite truth. Grace produces unconditional love. Grace produces unconditional respect for yourself first, then others. Grace gives you the power for self care and self healing, first, then others. If you're angry about something, grace, the spirit of grace that you were born with, is going to categorize that anger for you. It's going to sift out what you don't need and it's going to leave in what you do need. Grace carries the scales of justice, just like Anubis, better known as Anpu in the ancient Egyptian times, and also carries a feather, also carries a sword. You don't have to walk in shame with your head down. Hold your head up. You might feel like you're losing the battle, but guess what? You're being stripped of some crap you no longer need. And when the enemy becomes your external enemy and it begins to laugh at you because you look like you ain't got no power, you just laugh back. And if you can't laugh, cry. I tell you one thing: if you cry, there won't be no more tears. Be nothing but flames in your eyes like a volcano. When you move one foot ahead of the other, it'll be felt around the world, literally. Most people will not be able to interpret the power that grace carries because it is not a power, it is a spiritual force that cannot be reckoned with. It's that part of yourself that takes over when you are tired of fighting. It's that side that causes you to rest in the moment of battle. And you might become fearful, but in the moment of battle, you take on this cool calmness and you confront the demon or the enemy from inside. And the enemy realizes from inside you're no longer afraid of it. Now it joins forces in you, turns into power, or what? The sound in your mind. What is one of the sounds in your mind? An affirmation. What is another sound in your mind? A prayer. What is another sound in your mind? An affirmative prayer. What is another sound in your mind? A meditation. And what's the last one? A decree. Is when your back is to the wall and you realize that wall is coming through with ancestors and they're telling you to be quiet. Let them speak through you. Guaranteed, they bring the grace, unconditional love like a sword, like a flame, and everything around you going to get quiet. Everything around you going to shut down. Everything around you that's in your way, trying to impede your progress, will melt beneath your feet. I'm Brother Francis E. Revels-Bey. I'm the host of Clear Blue Radiance. And there's a reason why it's called that. The color blue is connected to the old Kemetic times. You're welcome. It's connected to the old Kemetic times of ancient Egypt, of my good friends Akhenaten and Nefertiti and a few others. That blue flame is connected, as the doggone tribe of Africa says, is up in the sky. It's bigger than this earth and therefore bigger than the sun we see in the sky. And it carries a blue flame richly deep on the inside. And that blue flame releases you so that night time when you are asleep, you walk into the pillars or the halls of Amenti, as they call, or the Akashic records, as they call, and you are in the great central sun, chowing down, breaking bread, drinking wine and water with your higher self. When you connect with your higher self, you won't have any more enemies. The old frontier gamblers used to say, when everybody got an ace. So you know there ain't but four aces, but there's six people at the table. Everybody got an ace. Somebody got an extra deck of cards rolling around. What was that, Christopherson? You got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them, and know when to walk away. But there are some times when you don't have to hold them, you don't have to fold them, you just get out the way and let the grace of your ancestors come on through. They're waiting. They just need you to say, let me in. They will do whatever you ask, but they will not do anything that creates a total disruption. But they'll even the field. They'll balance the field. They'll sweep the field out and make it clean again. And they won't let nothing bother you. So I'm gonna leave that on a note. I'm gonna get out of here. I've got to do some other things. I got to work on my course. Whoo! And repopulate the course. I lost some, just a few pages, but that's all I got to do with my numerology course. Thank you for listening to me today. This is Clear Blue Radiance. Remember, this Saturday we got a lot going on, and this Sunday, but the best way to do it is go over to www.resonantessentials.com, and the calendar page is going to come on, and you can click on the practitioners. See all the practitioners. Most of them will be at the psychic fair. At least half of them. You need to check out the calendar and see what kind of classes are going on. I'm at Resident Essentials every Saturday with a brand new time with my Creative Pathwork Meditation series. $10 per class. That's all I'm charging. $10 per class per person, starting at 11:30 a.m. ending at 12:30. So I suggest, if you want to get to that 11:30 a.m. class this Saturday, you need to arrive about 11:15, 11:20. Now I won't be there, and the center will be closed on March 17th, which is a Friday, and March the 18th, which is a Saturday, because they'll be at an event. So if you want to hit the meditation, come this Saturday. If you want to wait, come on the 25th, and we'll greet you then. Okay, take care of yourself, bless yourself. My Grace is your grace. Until next time, remember that divine grace is a blessing as we're alive and well in the age of remembrance. Look forward to seeing you all soon.